Hello. You are early.
Me?
You are not supposed to be here for another 1,856 years.
What is this place?
Hey. I kinda need to use this scene for my time travel theory video. Hey, I was hoping I could use this scene for my Yellow Church video. Hey, I gotta use this scene for my Great Prophecy video. Really, dude? Again? I really need to use this scene. Come on.
The fuck are you guys talking about?
This is the housing facility for the Great Weapon. I am the keeper of the Great Weapon. You are the Great Destroyer. You will demolish this facility, kill me, steal the Great Weapon, and bring about the Great Doom for billions of people. Welcome. How may I be of assistance?
What are you talking about?
Your coming has been foretold by the Great Prophecy.
Does your society have any other adjectives besides great?
The Great Prophecy warns the Great Destroyer will be a blue being.
And you think that's me?
The blue being will be known as the stupidest life form in the universe.
Wait a second. This destroyer guy. He dresses like me, but he's dumber than anyone else in existence.
Correct.
Oh, crap.
Mr. Sergeant! Mr. Sergeant!
In a way, all the things Gary told Church about Caboose were true. Everything about the Great Destroyer? It added up. First, I'll explain the situation the Reds and Blues were in. So when the Reds and Blues woke up in the desert, they had no idea where they were. They thought they were thrown into the future and all that stuff. While they were hanging out in the desert trying to figure out what to do, they received a distress call from Tex from their Jeep.
Come in. Does anyone read me? Over.
What the? Who's that?
This is Freelancer Tex. I have found O'Malley's base. I repeat,
O'Malley?
I found O'Malley's
Son of a...
base.
Where is she?
They seem to be holed up in some kind of fortress.
They follow the coordinates and they meet up with Tex at this building with a giant windmill. O'Malley's inside, and he's with Lopez's head, and the leader of the Red Grunts from Beaver Creek Base. He saw it as a pilgrimage, probably for the same reasons why he spoke about the Great Destroyer and the Beast and all that stuff in Beaver Creek. Most likely the visions from the Time Distortion Unit. Regardless, Tex's plan is to build a bomb, plant it inside the building with O'Malley inside, and blow it up. The problem is, she can't lift it. My guess is because now she doesn't have Omega inside her helmet, giving her the strength. Funny enough, Caboose is the only one who can carry it. So he takes it inside the temple, places it on the ground where Tex told him to place it. While the Reds and Blues are trying to infiltrate this place, Tex and Tucker take the top entrance near the windmill, where Tucker falls down into a hole, and this is where he finds the Great Sword. Tucker kills the Red Zealot, and then they all meet up inside the building. Meanwhile, Caboose has found a message left by Church.
Whatever you do, don't touch anything. Apparently you're this culture's version of the apocalypse. You're going to destroy this building and somehow bring about doom for their entire race. No. That doesn't sound like me. And whatever you do, don't touch the glowing weapon thing they have stored there. Uh-oh. And if you do, definitely don't bring it into the main building.
What's up, dogs?
Otherwise, the whole place is gonna lock down and you're gonna be trapped. Would you stop saying bad things to come true?
Now, everyone's trapped inside, and this is the situation setting Caboose up to be the Great Destroyer, killing everybody inside, including the one who's claimed the Great Weapon, Tucker. Luckily, this is where Church finally comes out of the time loop and stops everything from happening, saving everybody from dying and Caboose becoming the Great Destroyer. This leaves Fate wide open for the next Great Destroyer to show up. Out of nowhere, this thing shows up and destroys all of O'Malley's robots and defeats O'Malley, causing him to retreat. Everybody thinks Tex did this. And while the Reds and Blues are now chilling at the temple, Gary starts spewing off about the Great Destroyer has arrived over and over again, and Church, trying to get him to calm down, gets ambushed by an alien. And of course, out of all of them, Caboose is the one to confront the alien and calm it down and name it Crunchbite. While the Blues are trying to get to know the alien and figure out why he's here, they learn from him that everything they just went through with the windmill is the very first trial of the Great Journey, the alien's great prophecy. This is where the alien learns that Tucker claimed the great weapon that was there, the thing he was there to claim himself. And now Tucker has to go on this great journey with him, finish the journey, and fulfill the prophecy.
Okay, basically, he says he's pissed off. He says he came to claim some type of thing, and that the teal one took the thing, and now the thing is gone.
Who's the teal one?
You are, idiot.
No way, I'm Aqua. Teal's out. That thing that he's talking about must be that sword, and it's not broken, it's right there.
He says it only works for the hero who passes the trial of the windmill and retrieves it from his resting place. For everyone else, it might as well be broken.
Uh-oh. Trial? Please, I fell in a hole. That's not a trial.
And now you gotta go with him to fulfill the prophecy.
Fuck you.
This is what makes me say that the alien is the next great destroyer.
Sorry to fuck up your quest, dude, but I'm not going.
And if you don't go, he'll destroy the base and kill everybody here.
Alright, well, have fun, guys.
Hey, your quest sounds fun. Come on, Tucker.
Which is what Gary said the Great Destroyer would do. And if you think about it, if Caboose had actually destroyed the temple with everyone inside, the alien would have shown up anyway, dug through the rubble, and found the sword, and gone on the great journey himself. This would inevitably cause him to become the Great Destroyer for reasons I'll explain later. The characters that go with Tucker and Crunchbite on this great journey is Caboose and Tex, who decides she's going to steal their reward at the end of the mission. The next stage of the great journey is the great burning plains of Honka Hill. Andy tells them, while translating for the alien, that in this stage, Tucker has to face and defeat a great monster that's there.
Word honk.
Okay, these are the great burning plains we talked about.
They don't look burning. They look burnt. Hey, I recognize this place.
Get ready. He's gonna distract the monster, and you use your heroic powers to swoop in.
Heroic powers?
Yeah, you're the big hero from that prophecy, ain't you?
Oh, right. Boy, are you guys gonna be disappointed.
And don't forget, go for the weak spot in the armor.
Okay. Are we adding get killed to the end of the plan?
Go! What happened?
To what?
The big monster. It's dead, look!
That thing?
But when they go to face it, it's just a cow skull in the sand. The next phase of the great journey involves them staying at a swamp and resting. This is where Andy decides to tell them about another thing in the prophecy.
Hey, Caboose, what's wrong?
I think something is following us.
Yeah, it's been on us since we left. Part of the prophecy talks about something evil that tries to take the great weapon.
You mean my awesome dead monster killing weapon? It can have it.
It's attracted to it. It can't live without it.
That doesn't sound good.
At the time, they think it's Tex because she's trying to steal the sword from Tucker and wants to claim the reward at the end. But eventually this becomes obviously not true. Tucker also claims later that while he's sleeping in the swamp, the alien hovers over him creepily while he sleeps. The next stage of the great journey is the freezing plains of Blarganthia. This is where Caboose and Tucker see that the red and blue grunts are there guarding it, led by Agent Wyoming. This is where everybody, including Andy, learns that Tucker's sword is actually a key.
Tucker, use the key and open the gates.
Key? What key? I don't have a key.
Your sword! Use the sword!
Oh god, the sword is a key? Just when I thought this couldn't get any lamer. What is that thing?
The ship! What ship? No one told me about a ship!
Before the alien fully departs, he notices that one of the red and blue grunts are about to kill Tucker and Caboose, so he spins around, shoots him, and kills the grunt. Unfortunately, in that process, Wyoming takes a shot and kills the alien, destroying the ship, reverting the Great Destroyer status back to Caboose. Meanwhile, Tex breaks off from the group to go chase Agent Wyoming, But first, kills all the red and blue grunts, who obviously come back to life later because of the time distortion unit. This is where she parts ways with the group temporarily to chase after Wyoming, until she returns to them before the final part of the prophecy in Blood Gulch. The next step of the Great Journey, the Blues return to Blood Gulch, thinking the prophecy's finished.
Hey, where's Tex? Gone. Where's the alien? Dead. Well, how'd the quest go? Failed. Yeah, I probably didn't even need to ask that last question, did I?
Yeah, I wouldn't say failed.
Where they meet up with Church, who's been dealing with the Reds this whole time. This is around the time where they learn Tucker is now sick. And they don't know what's wrong with him, so they risk it. So they call Doc to come help and diagnose the problem.
Please don't do it.
Who unfortunately is still possessed by O'Malley.
All right, fine.
Ha! Ha, you fool! And we want the $20 up front!
Fine.
And in cash!
Whatever.
Ah, you moron! If you'd used a credit card, you could have gotten airline miles!
Doc reveals that Tucker is pregnant.
He's pregnant.
Oh, God. Wait, what?
Preggers.
He's not pregnant. That's impossible.
Yeah, unless the alien impregnated him. Because that's what they do. They infect the host with a parasitic embryo.
Now, with Tucker giving birth to an alien baby, who also has the power to use the sword, O'Malley being in the canyon, the next member of the prophecy rears its head. The Great Retriever. It's assumed that his job is to show up, grab Junior, reunite him with the sword, and have him fulfill the prophecy, bringing emancipation to the entire alien species. The Great Retriever has studied his entire life to prepare for the coming of the Great One. When he first witnesses the signs indicating the rise of the Great Destroyer, he boarded a transport for human space and waited for his calling. Upon the passing of the vessel, my guess being the alien, the Great Retriever knew his moment was at hand. Venturing into human space, he located the Holy Valley and found a human vessel which agreed to assist him once awoken, being Captain Flowers. The vessel at first did not understand his quest, but upon the birth of the Great One, it was blessed with sudden knowledge and stands ready to assist him in the Great Revival. At discovering this, Project Freelancer sends a ship to Blood Gulch.
Ship's here.
With one soldier on it to replace Captain Flowers, who died on the blue team, this soldier being Griff's sister, Kaikaina. This ship was meant to replace the ship that the alien was blown up in. Now this was obviously there for a cover, and Omega, now having left Doc's body and possessed Captain Flowers, so they can take over the Great Retriever's mission. Agent Wyoming shows up, using the time distortion unit to help. This is where they learn Tucker's sword is connected to the time distortion unit because he can see every iteration of time that Wyoming puts them through. And eventually, after defeating Wyoming, there are dead Wyomings everywhere. Yellow Church is pushed out of Caboose's head. When they're trying to chase Omega, Yellow Church is sent back in time. And then eventually, when they disclose their plan to Tex and Church, Tex realizes as a freelancer it's her job to help end the war. So she actually allows Omega to jump into her head. And once that happens, Tex grabs the Great Retriever, Junior, the sword, Wyoming's helmet, and jumps upon the ship. Now at the moment, Gamma had taken over the tank because Sheila was put into the ship because the Reds and Blues thought she was possessed by Omega. Turns out that's not the case. Eventually, the Reds and Blues defeat Gamma and upload him into the ship so Sheila can keep him behind a firewall. So now, on the ship, is Tex, the Great Retriever, Junior, Gamma, Sheila, the Time Distortion Unit, Omega, the Sword, and Tucker's the hero, Caboose is the Great Destroyer, and Tex goes to take off so she can bring Junior to Project Freelancer and take over the aliens. The Reds have planted Andy inside the ship, and then once the ship explodes, they think the prophecies failed. Here is where I think Gamma was given more information than just the Great Destroyer and where the key was. Since there was basically a member of Project Freelancer at every stage of the Great Journey minus the swamp, I'd say that Project Freelancer was told by Gamma the information about the Great Journey as well, including the Great Retriever. See, Omega and the Zealot were at the windmill, Wyoming and the Red and Blue Grunts were at the freezing plains, and they also knew about the Great Retriever's plans. That's why I think Gary knew about the whole prophecy. And I think at this point, it's quite obvious that Omega represents the darkness in the prophecy, seeing as how he tried to take over Junior and the alien race, and tried to claim the sword as well to do it. And because O'Malley is at the windmill, and the building with the windmill looks like it's man-made, I'd probably say the part of that building that's part of the prophecy is the temple that's built around the human building and the windmill. And the reason why the building has a lockdown feature, if the weapon goes inside, is probably because if O'Malley took it, he could be locked in the building, so the Freelancer could use him to take over the aliens. As far as Yellow Church, or Zai, goes, since he was created by the time loop being used to stop the Great Destroyer, and then he was in Caboose's head, most likely when Caboose was about to become the Great Destroyer, and then when the alien became the Great Destroyer, and they both witnessed him be destroyed in the ship, and then they saw the ship show up with Sister in it that was supposed to replace that destroyed ship, and then he claimed the image of Sister who was in that ship, and then sent back in time to the time loop that was created to stop the Great Destroyer that created Yellow Church. I would say Zai probably represents the Great Destroyer. I also find it interesting that Yellow Church being sent back in time and text being distorted to the future mirrors the beginning of this whole situation, where Church was sent back in time and the Reds and Blues were distorted to the future. And the fact that Yellow Church was created by the time loop, which started the whole prophecy, and then by the end of this first iteration, Yellow Church was sent back to the beginning of all that, reminds me of a quote from Season 9 of Red vs. Blue that Church says.
It's like when a computer tries to solve a problem. Do you know what recursion is?
Yeah, I love that movie.
No, it's like a thing where a computer tries a number of different iterations to solve a problem. Then when it gets to the end, it returns all those solutions back up the line to the first iteration, and then it has its solution.
Now, if recursion applies to the whole concept of Church and Tex trying to find each other, and there are multiple iterations in a time loop with Church, multiple iterations in a time loop with Wyoming, seems like there's a lot of different iterations in this show. I'd say the prophecy is no exception. The next AI under the microscope is Sigma.